What's up guys, Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. We have a bunch to get into today. We're going to go through some news for XRP, Casper, and HBAR. And apologies if you hear my neighbor's dog going hard outside. Little Chihuahua is crazy. Alright, so looking at XRP on the 4-hour time frame, we're starting to climb back up, currently at 61 cents. We have different alts starting to pop off. We have Rose on the move right here on the 4-hour at 5.7 cents. We got HBAR on the 4-hour starting to climb up, back-to-back 4-hour candles. We'll see if we can actually break through these highs and do what Rose is doing. We have Casper at 3.6 cents starting to break out. So we know some excitement and some optimism is coming back to the market as some alts are starting to recover, but for the most part, a lot of things are still in accumulation similar to the previous bear market back in 2018. Although we had this retracement, it is very similar in structure, and not financial advice because I can't time it, but I truly believe the altcoin market cap, excluding Bitcoin, is going to go into new highs in the future. And just looking at these levels and all these open fair value gaps on the weekly time frame that have yet to be tested at 700 billion, 900 billion, even over a trillion, with the all-time high at 1.7 trillion. And even back here when the altcoin market was just going up like 20, 30, 40%, there's assets that can do that 3, 5, even 10x return, like Fetch did actually a 10x from its cycle low. So although markets aren't super exciting yet, I do believe it's going to be very exciting once we actually start getting up and closing some of these gaps. And once we can start seeing some big green candles, large volume coming back to the market, even just the altcoin market as Bitcoin pushes higher, the more exciting it is. And that's where we can see those big returns that we're actually in crypto for. And after one of the hardest bear markets that I've ever been a part of in crypto, a lot of people are going to be skeptical, even following one of the worst years in equity history. So a lot of markets are going to be skeptical. Are we going to reach an all-time high price? I personally believe that Bitcoin creates a new all-time high. We just don't know when. If I didn't believe that Bitcoin at the very least could surpass 69, 70K, I wouldn't be in crypto. And we know the crypto market moves in cycles. The bear markets are like winter, and then the bull runs are like summer. We also know Bitcoin is seeing diminishing returns. We see over a 100x from the bottom of this cycle to the peak. And from last cycle's low to Bitcoin's high, this is over a 20x. So it's definitely getting lower. To reach that all-time high price, it doesn't require a 3 to 5x. It really only requires about a 95% move. And like I said the other day, crypto winters or bear markets are like gardening in snow. It's tough. But no matter how long or how rough each winter is, spring and summer always follow. And crypto spring is like the market starting to wake up, some alts recovering, maybe even breaking out of accumulation, and then summer comes, sentiment is flipped, there's better liquidity, there's better trading volume, there's better price action. And just like macro investor Raul points out with crypto liquidity, so we can see Bitcoin year-over-year percent with the global M2 year-over-year. You can see each cycle there's a strong correlation between these two as both are increasing right now. And he has the same point of view, bear markets suck, but this asset class is here to stay. And this is when Bitcoin outperforms the NDX, I believe he's referring to the NASDAQ 100, and crypto becomes the supermassive black hole. And we have right here by Credible Crypto showing Bitcoin versus the S&P 500. As traditional equities remain sluggish and Bitcoin's pumping, it's going to capture a lot of attention, a lot of investors aiming for 7% or 10% returns. They have to ask themselves, will that even outpace inflation? As crypto climbs, even meme coins start doing 100x's again, it's going to capture attention and people are going to throw their money in crypto just like last cycle. And talking about traditional equities, in the United States alone, he points out that is a $45 trillion market. And I completely agree with his thoughts here. As Bitcoin outperforms the S&P, money and attention from traditional markets will shift into Bitcoin. So then out of that 45 trillion in the US equities market, how much can actually come to crypto? Is it actually possible to see another $1 or $2 trillion come into the market? And absolutely. And everybody has their own view. Some of the bearish people think that we're either going to crash or reject that 48K level and create another low in this market. And other people are aiming for an all-time high price for Bitcoin, anywhere between 80 to 120K. And not financial advice, this is solely my opinion. I am personally bullish on the market. I think if we were ever to do another crash, even back to 20K or even another low, it would make a lot more sense to get a lot more liquidity into the market and pump it up significantly, get the retail investors a lot more excited, get a lot more money invested before doing another big crash like that. And that's just my opinion. I am leaning a lot more towards a Bitcoin all-time high price. It doesn't require anything absolutely crazy and nothing we haven't seen before. And every time the monthly RSI has pierced into overbought here, here, and here, 3 different cycles, we go into new highs. So I'm personally bullish on the market. We have different alts that are starting to lead, still a lot that are still very low. And, is it possible for them to create another low and Bitcoin crashes? Absolutely. And that's why I'm still keeping as an insurance policy during this market, whether bullish or bearish, 10 to 20% of my net worth liquid just in case we have black swans. So then I at least have some liquidity to buy any crashes or any black swans that occur. But keep in mind that is also lowering now my potential profit during a bull run scenario. And looking at the XRP price chart on the daily time frame, we have this purple moving average, the 500-day moving average. Now just looking at last cycle, when we got this retracement, this cup and handle, big pump into the big crash during the SEC lawsuit, we eventually reestablished support over the 500-day MA and began drawing these impulses and waves up. We can see thus far we've been establishing support over this 500-day MA, pretty similar in structure. It might not be the exact scale, and it might be just a smaller version of these impulses, but we can see establishing support, the big pump and the big crash and liquidation, just like we saw during the SEC lawsuit, and then establishing support over the 500-day there, and establishing support on top of the 500-day here, not actually dropping as hard as we did last time. And just comparing this chart, it looks very similar to XRP being somewhere around here, potentially going much higher into 2024. We also had the Q3 2023 XRP markets report just come out, and we know all eyes are on the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF approvals, so even a spot Bitcoin ETF coming for BlackRock, I do think it's just a matter of time. All the investment firms that applied for a Bitcoin ETF, their AUM is over 17 trillion, so even if they did only allocate 1% of those funds or even get 1% of that value into Bitcoin, that is close to a couple $100 billion in buy pressure. If it's 3% or 5%, much more. We know Singapore is essentially their central bank. The Monetary Authority of Singapore granted a major payments institution license to Ripple. And we have shared by Anders, the EU starts countdown to crypto legislation. The European Union sets out a clear framework for digital assets with its MiCA, or Markets and Crypto Assets Regulation, including a licensing process for crypto firms, coming fully into force by the end of 2024. So will this be a good thing or will this be a bad thing? Trading volume on the XRP Ledger's DEX increased by more than 3 times in Q3. And we know tomorrow will be the webinar featuring Gartner, IBM, and Casper Labs discussing building more responsible artificial intelligence systems. I'm watching the IPW Casper contracts for mints to come in and just refreshing this. We can see 14 days ago there was a mint. And I'd hope to begin to see some of the mints starting on Casper's public network this month. So Scanspur.com says the real contract will use the CEP 78 standard, the new standard, so this page will automatically be updated when the mint will start. So I'm not entirely sure if this is going to be a brand new contract to 78 or if they're actually going to upgrade the CEP 47 contract. And since Casper Labs is doing this webinar tomorrow with watsonx, which is IBM's platform, and then of course Gartner as well, and this is IBM's AI and data platform, and remember that Casper Labs joined IBM's partner program, I believe, in 2021. And here's a patent I found actually mentioning a lot of things with blockchain, transactions, DLT, and then talking about IBM watsonx. And we have shared by Ripple exploring home equity lending and settlement with CBDCs. So we know back in May, Ripple and Fubon Bank were selected to demonstrate a use case for the settlement of tokenized assets as part of the or electronic Hong Kong dollar pilot program for the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, or the Central Bank of Hong Kong. In partnership with Fubon Bank, Ripple is pioneering a groundbreaking home equity line of credit pilot designed to streamline access to excess property equity for Hong Kong citizens. And this pilot leverages the Ripple CBDC platform. And other partners supporting Ripple and Fubon Bank on this pilot for the electronic Hong Kong dollar include Toko as well. So everybody in the Hedera ecosystem also knows Toko, the tokenization engine. And key insights include addressing demand for tokenized real estate equity, which is going to be growing, having interoperable tokenization, reliable transactions, and reducing friction and risks in loan fulfillment. Commercial bank empowerment, so commercial banks could effectively set up, manage, and monitor lending protocols. And as this infrastructure grows, 100% these commercial banks are going to be doing this. Tokenizing mortgage liens is a pivotal step towards broader property deed tokenization within closed ecosystems. And this home equity line of credit use case could potentially operate in various CBDC issuance models. Also, taking a look at HBAR and comparing its market cap to that of XRP, if HBAR had the market capitalization of XRP today, not XRP at an all-time high, this would be about 97 cents per HBAR, so just under $1, or a 17x from here. And even back in 2021, Cardano had a circulating supply of 32 billion and it hit $3.10. HBAR's circulating supply is 33 billion. If it hit Cardano's all-time high market cap of 99 billion, that would be about $2.90. If you considered HBAR's total supply of 50 billion reaching Cardano's all-time high market cap at 99 billion, that would be about $1.98 per HBAR. So because both Doge and Cardano or ADA surpassed over $90 billion market caps, and if HBAR reached that today with the current circulating supply or even its full supply, we're still looking at $1 to even $2 plus for HBAR. I personally believe in HBAR long term. It's a huge ecosystem. Just going through the blogs, the HBAR Foundation has allocated over $408 million into the Hedera ecosystem for tokenization and DeFi. And the Hedera mainnet is silently crushing every other network in the crypto space in terms of total transactions on its mainnet, over 26 billion. We have shared by HBAR Foundation discussing micropayments, and Hedera is completely built for micropayments. We know this company was specifically showcased by FedNow. So right on FedNow's website, under service providers, they do showcase Drop Inc. We can see verbatim on the website the team has carefully selected the best features of the existing well-regulated banking world and the transparency and cryptographically secure access offered by Hedera Hashgraph. We got news here that Dropsy is integrated with WordPress to enable cost-efficient content purchase, bypassing the need for subscriptions. Be sure to check out the next video I upload because we're going to dive into a bunch of important information. Today we're going to finish up with a clip shared by C-Stake. Hybrid blockchains like Casper offer businesses the security of public networks and the privacy of private instances. So we have this clip of Meta Parlikar, the CTO of Casper Labs, and the last minute is super important. I hope you guys enjoyed, and a huge thank you to all that hit the like button.
We're also finding that businesses love hybrid blockchains. Remember I talked about having a private blockchain that has the security of a public one? So you probably see this in Ethereum as well, that there's a lot of what we call layer 2s. Polygon does this. Polygon is a public layer 2 for Ethereum. Polygon doesn't really have a very strong consensus protocol. It gets its security from Ethereum. And it does this by, something I like to refer to as checkpointing. And so we can checkpoint Casper blockchains as well. You can run a private instance that is completely wholly controlled, but we recommend that you run a hybrid instance so that your private blockchain can be provably immutable. And you can provably make it immutable by just phoning home. You just phone Casper and you send your block hashes to Casper, and Casper's like, yep, those are block hashes are immutable. And then you can connect your block hash in your local network to the block hash on Casper and say, yep, my blockchain is immutable. I haven't done anything to tamper with this blockchain, even though I control the participant set. And this is a really powerful feature, and we are learning from our partners at IBM and our partners at Hyperledger Foundation that a lot of enterprises are looking at hybrid. And the funny thing is, this is what they did with cloud. So anybody who remembers VMware in the early days, it was all about VMware on-prem. Like everybody was using, oh yeah, we got our data centers and we're gonna run VMware in our data centers, and the guys in network operations were really afraid about losing their jobs to the guys at AWS, and nobody wanted to go to the public clouds. Nobody wanted to go to AWS cloud at the time because it was all about preserving that capability of running your own machines in your data center. But then they started doing something really interesting. They were running VMware locally, but then they realized that when they had a capacity overflow, they had to go to public cloud. They had to overflow to a public cloud, and that was the first thing they did. Is they started using Kubernetes, they started using AWS. Like, okay, we can start log shipping to AWS. And they started having these hybrid implementations where for some of their less critical stuff that they didn't worry about, we'll send that to AWS. And then pretty soon there was a full-bore migration for all of their core systems to AWS because they realized it was cheaper, it scaled better, it provided better guarantees. We suspect that the adoption curve is going to be very similar here. That with newer technologies to provide privacy that you need, or the ability to provide multi-party computation that allows you to shard information that goes in the blockchain, or homomorphic encryption. We're going to hear from a cryptographer later today that there's going to be ways to leverage the security and guarantees of public infrastructure, even for private companies and financial institutions.